Hello there. All right, guys, I'm Patty, and in today's video, we're taking a look at the Crye AVS minus the harness. All right, so stick around. So those of you guys who saw my video covering the AVS, like the full setup with the harness, I had mentioned that, hey, if you guys deploy out with that, and you guys have shoulder pads, you guys have an external cummerbund, you have a bit of a scalable platform. What I mean by that is that, you know, if you guys need the full like side plate, because running like a lot of kit, you need that extra stuff, you can have the harness. However, if you're going somewhere and you don't need that much, you want to kind of slim it down a little bit, you can go ahead and do this. I've also talked to a few guys who have asked if they are looking at getting like themselves the Crye AVS and they're trying to save the money for it. What if they got, you know, all of this stuff like right here for like the base plate carrier, that way they still have something that they can utilize, and then, you know, buy the harness and they have the money. So like I said, so I've gone and I've taken this whole thing like apart, took the harness off, set it up this way. It's kind of a pain in the ass, so it's definitely not a quick scalable thing, but it does like work. And kind of bottom line up front, it's like a shittier version of a JPC. So it's not the best, but you know, it works. So let's get into it. All right, guys, so we're gonna start at the top, kind of work our way down, and the shoulder pads, the shoulder material is definitely something that said if you guys don't bring shoulder pads, you guys are trying to use like the socks that come with the AVS, might work, like might not. I threw them on there. They were, like I said, like they're just like sleeves. There's no padding. But if you bring, or if you have another set of shoulder pads, it definitely like helps out a lot. These are the Axle Advanced structural shoulder pads. The materials, so both of the straps that are on the front plate bag and the rear plate bag, they just kind of fold over just like they normally would. There is a lot of like hook and loop that's on here, and of course these shoulder pads have like the one wrap, so it really does kind of hold this like, you know, very securely in place. I mean, notice there's like a lot of like kind of like flop to these. Mind you, this here is a swimmer cut AVS. I will also throw out there that I did remove the buckle. So if you want to keep the buckle, you can. You just have to, like, you know, attach it on here. I decided, since we're kind of like, you know, just slimming it down, I'd go ahead and take that right there like off. But that you can still utilize the buckle, so you can kind of have that quick donning, getting it on and off sort of deal. Honestly, said it's not the worst. A lot of guys recommend the I would say it's the AVS retrofit shoulder kit stuff from Axle. I wanted to try to do it without it, just because if you guys don't want to go out and spend extra money on that stuff, you know, with you know what you have, well, they're like, you know, work. So this right here does work. All right, you know, it's not the best, it's not the worst, but you know, it's shoulder pads. It's really just designed to kind of help keep it, you know. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and look at the inside, the interior of the plate carrier, because that's where I think like some of like the biggest cons are, like for this one, wearing it in this sort of like sandwich board like style. On the front plate bag, you'll notice that it is extremely flat and there's no padding. You look at like my SPC, there's a lot of padding. That mesh material kind of helps a little bit of like heat transfer and comfort. This one here does not have that. So there is some of the loop material that's here. Go to Core Performance and get their, I cannot remember the heck they're actually called, but they're little like vent things. Probably throw those on here just so you can kind of get this plate bag off of your body and get a little bit of like airflow inside there. And also give you like a little bit of like padding as well. One of the things I always look at for like a plate carrier, especially if I'm having to wear some sort of like, you know, field top that has like buttons, is you know, does like the top portion here of the plate carrier, is it like super like rigid to where that top plate is digging into one of the buttons that's on there? So there's a little bit of padding that's like right in here. Like I said, it's not the greatest, but you know, it is there. And I wasn't noticing that, and that was with the improved hot weather camouflage uniform. So you know, it is what it is. The backside though, that's probably where I noticed the biggest like con. The exact same thing as the front, except for now we have the cummerbund, you know, whichever one you guys end up like getting, that's kind of like, you know, sitting here like on your back. You know, the SPC, it'll route through on the other way, but this one like right here, it's routed through the interior. So however you have it set up here, you will kind of feel it in your back a little bit. Now this is the structural cummerbund, the L4 from L4 Performance, their L4 PC one. Said I really love this one. It works. It's a 2-band in the back, 3-band in the front. So I've kind of got it on the exterior molly here. If you guys have like a 3-band cummerbund, you probably just use this extra molly here, and that is for where the actual harness like attaches on. I've tried to do like my best to find a way that where this is going to be comfortable. Said it's not super noticeable. All right, I can kind of like feel it like back there just with how tight I have the cummerbund pulled against my body, but it's not the world's like worst thing. So you know, this is doable. Just understand that, hey, depending on what you're wearing, if you're wearing like, a combat top, body shape and stuff, this right here might be a little like uncomfortable for you. I have seen the, excuse me, the Axle micro harness. I might look into getting one of those, but I mean, like, honestly, I use my AVS like with the harness, and I have another plate carrier that I use for more like a slim down thing. But with that right there, helps get the rear plate bag off of your body a bit for some of that ventilation, but then it also helps with some of like the routing of this like right here, just because you're gonna have that padding that's kind of like above it, so you don't have to worry about this shit like dig into your back. All in all, I think this here like does work. It's just one of those things that it's not really designed like for this. But hey, Obi-Wan Nairobi, Christian Craighead, he rushed in with no harness, just using a front plate bag, and I want to say the Crye AVS like 1000 pack, and it worked just fine for him. So if you guys have any other questions on this, like, let me know. Say I'll try to take some really good like pictures. You guys are trying to interested in see like what's going on like with it. But yeah, not the best, not the worst, but if you guys want to start off like with this and upgrade to the harness like later, this right here like will work. All right, that's all I got. Later.